What's up, everyone? I'm back. This is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust, hoping to get back in the swing of posting these daily recap videos. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to Hans. Hans is a member of the Bear Bull Traders community chat room, and which is an amazing chat room that I'm fortunate to also be a member of. Aside from my own personal reasons for doing these videos and wanting to get back into them, Hans is somebody that I don't know if that's his real name, it's his handle in the chat room, but he gave me some kudos for the videos that I did before, and that really meant a lot to me. And so he's also one of the other reasons that I really wanted to, get back into doing these. I've been trying to get back in the swing of these for some time now, but what can I say? I kept putting it off, and there's no time like the present to get started again. So here we are, and on that note, let's get started with today's recap. Here's today's watch list. In case you're new to watching my recaps, or maybe you've just wondered what my thinking is when it comes to putting together this watch list, the tickers that I have on the primary are the ones that at the time that I post this are where I feel there's the highest likeliness I'm going to find opportunities or moves that I can take advantage of for my strategies. The secondary lists are other ones where I feel there's potential that they could shape up, but in the pre-market, when I'm looking for the stocks that in play or stocks that I will be watching for the day, maybe they just don't look as promising as the ones on the primary. And the things that make the tickers on my primary watch list look promising are, for me anyways, a higher than average volume than what I normally see during the pre-market for that particular ticker. Obviously some type of strong catalyst, news catalyst, or it could be something I see like here on the firm on the daily chart, or the price action in the pre-market. So on the secondary list, again, same things that I look for, but it just doesn't look as strong as the ones that are on the primary list. Now, out of this entire list, I ended up trading today AMD, Facebook, and OXY. I think it's important to point out also that I almost exclusively trade tickers that are on my morning watch list, or my watch list for the day. I try not to stray from this, because then I find myself tend to kind of be chasing things, and I think the better thing is if I find that I'm not getting opportunities on my watch list, and the thing I need to improve on is putting together a better watch list, not so much finding other opportunities. Now, let's say 98% of the time, if I take trades, it's off of one of these tickers. The only times that I would take other trades would be if there's a last minute news catalyst, or some type of stock caught my attention, or came across the wire on Benzinga or on CNBC, or something that I'm watching that caught my eye. But otherwise, I almost always trade the tickers that are on this list. So the day was a relatively decent day. You can see here I finished the day just under 2R. I took 10 trades for the day. You can see here the early trades here were all red, and so it was a little dicey at the beginning. I actually found myself over 2R in the red after my first 4 trades. So I was really happy to, kind of settle things, find some really good setups, and finish the day green. So let's take a look at the trades. First trade of the day was on Facebook, and this was a little bit frustrating. So when we look at this was a 1 minute opening range breakout. You can see here that the first 1 minute candle was a green one, but it threw a fairly large top wick here, and I felt it looked a little weak, so I was watching for it to break below the bottom of this candle, and when it did, I went short. And man, this trade, it was frustrating because my profit target, my 2-hour profit target, was right here. You can see it missed it by pennies, and unfortunately it came all the way back and stopped me out. I was almost at break even here on this trade. And then I kept the stop loss just above the wick of this candle, just in case it did kind of come back. And with the slippage, I ended up taking a 0.5-hour loss on this. That's where the frustration comes in. What should have been, or was like pennies away from being a 2-hour win, ended up being a 0.5-hour loss. So that was my first trade of the day, and definitely got me started off, unfortunately, on a bit of the wrong foot. But so let's take a look at what I had after that. My next few trades, as you can see here, were on AMD, and when we take a look at the 1 minute chart here, you can see that AMD did a similar move to Facebook, where first 1 minute candle was a green one, then pushed down and then pushed all the way back up. At that point, it did look pretty strong. It looked like it was going to be strong for the day, but then it threw this upside down hammer on some decently high volume. So I felt it was weak. I thought I would go short if it broke below this level, so I did. Unfortunately, it threw this wick here and then came back up, so I took this off quickly. Ended up taking about a 0.4-hour loss, but you can see these, all these wicks here, and it did look weak. So I did take another short right over here, and this time I had a stop loss just above high of day at the time, but so I held this, and I probably shouldn't have, because as you can see, it was higher highs and higher lows here, even though it was throwing these top wicks. But I did hold it, and unfortunately took just a little bit more than the 1-hour loss there after slippage. And then you can see that I took a couple of other trades here, because I really, again, it threw this upside down hammer on some elevated volume. It really did look weak. I probably should have waited and been a little bit more patient and looked for this, a little bit stronger of a sign. When it did this nearly engulfing candle, I did finally get a move down that was a bit of a winner. I ended up taking this off a little bit early, because again, it seemed to be finding some support over here, and now I was really unsure as to what was going on. But this trade here probably shouldn't have happened. I didn't have any signal. Probably wasn't even a strong signal on the time and sales. Ended up taking a 0.5-hour loss there. Now this here, as it came up to what at the time was high of day, and it failed to push above that, and volume came in. I saw a lot of red come in on the tape, so I did go short there with I gave it some room here in case it wicked up a bit, but fortunately this worked out really quick. I was able to manage, I felt I managed risk pretty good through this whole process. Even though there's quite a few trades here where I took a loss, they weren't huge losses except for this, this one here where I took a full 1-hour loss. Fortunately, this came down and hit my 2-hour profit target pretty quickly. Aside from that, I thought I could play a bit of a trend continuation, and I thought that I would catch another move down here. Unfortunately, it didn't, so I took another small 0.3R loss there on AMD. So that's how I played AMD. After that, I just felt that I wasn't reading it properly. I was happy to have gotten at least that one winning trade on it, and I moved on. Last trades of the day were on OXY. OXY has been really strong lately, and I really felt that there was a good chance that there was going to be a pullback today. So I was short biased on it, but I was waiting for it to set up, and you can see that my patience paid off with a couple of green trades. So let's take a look at OXY. And we'll take a look at the 5-minute chart here, because this was something that where I was looking, and where it was a bit of a trend continuation play. You can see that early it pushed down, and I wanted to wait for it to come back up and test the 20 EMA here, and which also coincided with pre-market low, which is this dashed line. So when it came up there, I saw some selling come in on the tape, and I went short here, and it was a very well-timed trade, because you can see that it although it consolidated in this area, it did come back. It did come down and give me a couple of partials here, and then I got all out. Let's clear that up. You can see, so these two trades here. Let me zoom in a bit so we can see exactly what I was doing here. There we go. So what I did here was I went short. I took a couple partials. It looked like it was going to find some support at VWAP, so I ended up taking off the entire trade there for about just about 1.5R gain, and then with that I wanted to see if it would come back and test this low of day and see what it would do there. And it looked weak. There was a lot of selling at 42.19 on the tape. So when it pushed below that level, I went short again, was able to catch a couple of small partials, and waited for it to break this level. And when it did, I got all out on that trade. As you can see, it did continue to push down, but with this second trade here on this trend continuation, I ended up catching another 1.3R total for these two trades. It was over 3R, and that put me at where I finished the day at about 1.9R green. So I was really happy with that, and that one worked out exactly how I had planned it. So those were my trades for the day. This was the P&L for the day. As you can see, red on AMD, red on Facebook, but I managed to recover with those couple of great trades on OXY. Ended up finishing 1.9R for the day. So happy with that. Happy to start the week off on a positive note. So I'm really looking forward, and I hope once again that I can get back into consistently posting these recaps. Honestly, I really don't know how many people tune into these, and since I've been MIA, I don't know if anybody's going to tune back in, but if you are, thank you so much for watching. And this is AJ on Day Trader Boomer Bust, signing out until tomorrow's recap. Cheers.